Please log into the orgs, everyone. So once you log in, go to the app launcher and launch the Omni Studio application. Go to the 9 dots app launcher. Okay. So today what we are doing is, we are going to start working on the, as per the, yesterday we have discussed about the case study, right? In the case study, we are implementing a caller story. So in this caller story, we need to implement the flex cards. In the flex cards, so first we have to implement the account card, right? So we are displaying the account details. So this account card, we are going to start working on this account detail cards. Okay. So everyone go to the Omni Studio application and then Omni Studio FlexCard. Do you see like these kind of warnings message here? If you're seeing the warning message, so what we have to do is, there is a two URLs here. There are two URLs here. These two URLs we have to add in the remote site setting. So what is the remote site setting? We'll see. First, you can copy the two URLs. Otherwise, our flex cards will not work. Do you see the warning message here?
Yeah, I can see it.
Go to the
Yes, can see.
Omni Studio FlexCard. Yes. So go click on warning message and you see two URLs here. Copy those two URLs. And go to click on the gear icon and set up. Click on the gear icon and set up. Click on the gear icon and set up. And if you have to go completely last option settings, or you can directly search for remote site setting. Just directly search for remote site settings. Remote. So under the security, you see remote site setting. So here we need to add those two URLs. Here we need to add those two URLs in the remote site settings. So new remote site setting. So add these two URLs. Site URL is that, and you can say VF. You can give name cards and click save and new. So one URL give in the remote site URL and click save new. We need to add another URL also. And you can say lightning. You can give any name. You can give ABC, not a problem. Give remote site setting name, and remote site URL should be the one which we copied. Okay, please confirm me once then.
Yeah, it's done.
Yeah, it's done.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so we have just fixed this issue. Okay, let's go back to the Omni Studio. Let's go back to the Omni Studio. Okay, and you can refresh the page and see whether you still see the error. You should not see the error. The warning buttons you should not see now. Once you refresh.
Yeah, it's gone for me.
Yeah, gone.
Okay. That's perfect. Okay. Now let's start implementing the FlexCard. Okay. So here, first we have to create a FlexCard, our own Flex. So let's start from very beginning. So creating our own FlexCard. So once you go to the Omni Studio FlexCard. So hope everyone on the same page. What you can do, you can split the screen. Okay, off screen you can see my screen. Off screen you can have your own screen where you can do. Okay, so Omni Studio FlexCard. Hope you went to the Omni Studio FlexCard, right? So now click on New. So here we are creating new FlexCard. Okay, so how we create? So we have to fill this a small form. Like first we have to give the FlexCard name. So what is a naming convention we discuss on the date, like Monday? What we have discussed and I think two sessions before, what we have discussed. What is a naming convention for the FlexCard?
Camel case.
Yeah, it should be camel case, and we use some prefix word. Okay, so here we to understand everything what we have done to be unique. So we use a name called team. Okay, so let's give team master account. Team master account. Team master account. Team master account. If you just type, press tab or something, the title will auto populated. Okay, so here we have something called theme. So what is a theme? Theme is nothing but what CSS, like what user interface you want to bring to the FlexCard. So here we have a new port and lightning. So lightning is Salesforce. It has its own CSS library, that is lightning design system. If you want to bring the lightning theme, lightning design system, you have to select the lightning. If you want to select, okay, what is new port is, it's a Velocity's own CSS library. So before it's merged, so Velocity has its own library, that is new port design system. New port design system. New port design system is a CSS library for Velocity. Okay, we are developed by Velocity, and Lightning design system is developed by Salesforce. So we are using the Lightning here. Okay, and author you can see. Okay, from where the author is coming. From where author is coming. The author is pre-populated with the ABC, right? So you might have got something else. When you are creating the org, whatever the company name you have given, right? So from the company information, the company name, the organization name is nothing but your author. So author will pre-populate with the author is pre-populated with the organization name. Organization name. And what is the purpose of this? What is the purpose of this card? You can add in the description. You can add in the description. Okay. So fine. So we are moving to the next step. And one more important thing here is, once we save, we can't change the name and author. Once we create a flex card, we can't change name and author. We can't change name and author. Why? Because the FlexCard uniquely identify with the name and author combination. How it uniquely identify? Uniquely identify with the combination of name and author. Name and author. Name and author. So once it is created, we can't change. And can we use the same name for another card? If I am creating another card, can I use the same name? We are saying it is uniquely identified with name and author. I can use the same name if author is a different, right? I can use the same name if the author is different. Okay, if the author is different, we can use the same name. We can use the same name. Okay. So that's a name and the importance of name and author. That is the importance thing of name and author. Okay. So that is just giving the name, FlexCard name. The very important thing is next step. So click on next here and you see the data source. What is the data source here? What is a data source here? Data source means how you bring the data to FlexCard. How we bring the data, how we retrieve the data from a data source to from different data. So what are the different data sources we have? How we retrieve the data to FlexCard. Okay. So if you know Salesforce, okay, in Salesforce we write SOQL queries, right? We write SOQL queries, SOSL queries. So there are total 11 ways you can bring the data to FlexCard. There are total 11 ways you can retrieve the data to FlexCard using. So if I select SOQL and click next, I need to write a query which will return the data and load the data to FlexCard. Loads the data to FlexCard. And SOSL, SOQL and SOSL are the queries. Works on the Salesforce objects. Salesforce object query language, Salesforce object search language. So we have query language and search language, SOQ and SOSL we can use to get the data from our database, Salesforce database to FlexCard. Okay. Apex remote. Apex remote is nothing but your Apex class. See, whatever the option you see, so you select here. If you go to the next, you have to write that. So I have selected the SOQL query. I see this screen. Here I need to write a SOQL query. How SOQL query I have written? I have to write. So yes, select ID name from account. So that will get the data from the account object directly. Okay. Let me go back. So if I select SOSL, I have to write SOSL. If I select Apex remote nothing. But if you are using Apex class and a method which retrieves the data, I can use the Apex remote. So I have to mention what? A remote class and method. Remote class and method. And if you are passing any parameters to a method, you can pass the input parameters to the method. Okay, if someone write a Apex class and method, and which is returning the data, so we have to specify the Apex class and method name, and you have to pass a parameter. If method is required, parameter, you have to pass a parameter which will bring the data to a FlexCard. And Apex REST. What is Apex REST? So if I want to bring the data from the external system through point and click, Apex REST will retrieve the data through point and click from the external system. So you have to provide the endpoint, and what you want to do, you need a method as get. So you have to select the get, right? We need a obviously we need a get only, because you are retrieving, you are not sending the information. So the method should be get. And the endpoint. So what is the endpoint? Your integration, the other application team will give the endpoint with authentication. You have to add that endpoint with authentication to retrieve the data from external system. Data Raptor. So we discuss about the Data Raptor, right? So Data Raptor is a velocity tool. Data Raptor is a velocity tool. We can use the Data Raptor. We can use the Data Raptor, the velocity tool, to bring the data, and the REST. So we can use a REST API. You can call the REST API call the same thing like. So REST type is okay. What is you want to provide a you want to use a URL, or you want to use a credentials to using the REST API, and method will be the get methods. Endpoint you have to give, and JSON payload. So what if you want to add any hidden information, you can add that. Where you want to load everything, you have to mention. So standard REST API call you can use. An integration procedure. This is another data tool. Integration procedure is another velocity tool. Another velocity tool. Integration procedure is another velocity tool. Okay, so we can use a velocity tool also to bring the data. For that, we have to configure the integration procedure. Streaming API. So this is also another API for push notifications and all. We use the streaming API. If I want to get the live data kind of thing, we use streaming API. And custom. Custom is nothing but if you want to hard code, like if you want to check the sample information, okay, you know like how the data will be, and you want to create your own sample data, means you have to create your own JSON like this. Name. Now this data loaded to the this whatever the data you sample JSON you specify here, that it will load into the FlexCard. So sample means if you want to verify with the sample data. Let's say you assume that there is no data available, okay, but you want to test. Currently you want to test, so you can go with the custom and put your JSON. Put your JSON. Okay. So here in our case, if you try to recall, we discussed that here first we are starting with the FlexCard, then OmniScript, then we go to the data tools. So we don't know what is Data Raptor, how to use a Data Raptor, and what is integration procedure, how to use integration procedure, we don't know, right? We are not sure what is Data Raptor and integration procedure. So here to work with the FlexCard and we need some data. How to get the data? Are we using any other options? No, we are using the integration procedure here. So without understanding how we are using the integration procedure, but the data which we are working is not a live data. This is seed data, hard-coded data. Okay, there are some integration procedure with the hard-coded data. So we are working with the hard-coded data in our FlexCard and OmniScript module. The current module, OmniScript FlexCard module, we will be using the hard-coded data. Okay, so which is already available in this org. So select integration procedure and click. Hope it is clear, everyone. What are the different data source we have? Is it clear?
Yes.
Data sources for FlexCard.
Yeah, clear.
Okay, good. So select the integration procedure and click next. Okay. So here in this we have to select the integration procedure. Have we created an integration procedure? No, we did not create an integration procedure. But along with this org, Salesforce already loaded some integration procedure which contains the seed data. So in our later sessions, once we go to the module number 5, we will replace that seed data with live data. But for now, we are using hard-coded data. So in the name, you search for team underscore get team underscore get. From the drop down, once you start typing team underscore get, you see a integration procedure called get master account details, right? So select that one, team master account details. So now what we are doing here is, so we are creating this card. To retrieve the data, we are using, let's say this is my account card. So to retrieve the data, what we are doing, we are using a data tool called integration procedure. That is get master account details. This is the integration procedure. Okay, this integration procedure, how it will bring the data from database, that we learn in the module number 5. So currently we don't know how it works. How it will get the data, that we don't know. This is what we'll learn in the module number 5. For now, as we are using the seed data, so we are using the integration procedure. We are using integration procedure to retrieve the data from somewhere. Okay, we said it is a hard-coded data. To retrieve this data, do we need to send? Like if I have like 1,000 accounts in a database, which account it will retrieve? We need to display only account details, whichever the account I verify. Whatever the account I verify, I only need to display that account details, not all the account details. So the context data, I need to display the current context data, the current account data, which currently user is viewing. Okay, so how to get that, right? So for that, from FlexCard, once we place the FlexCard on the record page of Salesforce, that will get some context ID that is called here record ID. What it gets? It gets the record ID. Now we have record ID in the FlexCard. Whenever we place this FlexCard on the record page, account page, so currently which account user see, FlexCard will take that record ID, inherit the record ID. So what information currently FlexCard is having? Record ID information we have. Okay. So we have what data we have? So we have record ID, nothing but account. So if you place the card on the account page, it will get the account ID. Hope everyone know what is account ID. Anyone? Not sure what is account ID? Record ID? See, if I go to the account object, okay, on the URL, we see 18-digit record ID. How can I see Acme? And this is Acme details. This is Acme account details. How can I see Acme account details? How can we see Acme account details? Because the URL is passing the record ID. Record ID will every object in Salesforce. Whenever we create any record in Salesforce, it generates unique 18-digit or 50-digit ID. So this ID is like a primary key in Salesforce. This ID is like a primary key in Salesforce. So for the account, object is what? Object is nothing but database table, right? So every object have a primary key. So how a record uniquely identified? If I want to identify Acme in database, how can I uniquely identify the database? Through record ID. Through record ID. So we have to pass the record ID to the integration procedure. Now, how we send the request? What we discussed yesterday? To send the request or get the response in which format? In which format?
JSON format.
Excellent. JSON format. Excellent. So we have to pass the request to integration procedure. We are saying, hey, integration procedure, I am passing this record ID. Please get the data for this record ID. So what integration procedure will do? It will take the record ID and it will search the data from the database. Okay, and it will bring the data. So how it will do, we don't know, but here we are using the hardcore data. You can ask me if it is a hardcore data, why we need to send this request ID? No need. But we will replace this hard-coded data with live data. When we replace this hard-coded data with live data, we must pass the request parameter, right? So it will use in module 5. Okay, so in what JSON format we are following? So here it is a key value pair. So what is a key here? What is the value here? Where we have the value? Okay, what value we have? The value will be stored. Okay, the data is coming into the context whenever we place this FlexCard on the account page. Whenever we place the card on the account page, it inherits the record. It inherits the ID and it holds in the parameter called record ID. So currently, where we have the data record, which parameter holds the record ID? So this is the record ID holds the ID. So that is the value. So value is record ID. Record ID. The value is record ID. Okay. But what is a key? Key can be anything. You can define anything. So this is a record ID. Record ID must be passed using the key. So you can like a key like a placeholder of this value. You can write anything. So record ID is what? Okay, you are sending what ID? You are sending the account ID. You can write account ID. And here it is a naming. Okay, it is a case sensitive. If I am using the account ID here so in the next is okay. If I am integration procedure also, the value will be holding the account ID. So I must use the same like account ID that all A is capital or I is capital, right? So we have to follow the same. Okay, we have to follow naming. We have to follow the same name, like same name whatever we have given here. It's a case sensitive. So key is you can define it. You can say AID. You can say ID. You can give any key. The value means what? Okay, which parameter holds the value. So here So here the record ID holds the data. Record ID holds the data. Okay. But when you are passing the key and value pair, so this is a key and value. You have to define the key and value. So this will be created as a JSON and it will send the JSON to integration procedure. Okay. But when you are passing the value, how system understand that record ID contains the data? So here we have to use the merge syntax. We have to follow the merge syntax. So what is a merge syntax in FlexCard? What is a merge syntax in the FlexCard? So merge syntax in the FlexCard is wherever you have the value, to replace the value with the whatever the record ID holds. If I want to get the value, so we have to pass in the merge syntax, that is open. So you have to keep the parameter, the open parenthesis and close parenthesis. Then we were able to retrieve the value available, the data available in the record ID. Okay, so this is like a certification question. What will be the merge syntax? What will be the merge syntax? What will be merge syntax in FlexCard we follow? So remember this. The merge syntax we follow. The merge syntax we follow in FlexCard is open parenthesis and close parenthesis. This is a certification question. Okay, this is a certification question. So the close parenthesis and open parenthesis, open parenthesis and close parenthesis, and between you have to give the what parameter you want to pass. So it will replace with the value when you use merge syntax. Okay. So where I need to pass that? Now go back to our application. So here, make sure that you select the team _ get master account details from the drop down. Otherwise, the next button will get disabled if you don't select from the drop down. Okay. If you try to enter complete text, then the next button will get disabled. You must select from the drop down. Okay. And we have to pass what? Input map. We have to pass what? Input map. So in the input map, click add and give the key value. What is the key? Key is where you want to pass the value. So key as account ID, use the same A capital, I capital in account ID, and the value is record ID, and it record ID, I is capital. You can say R is, we have to use the same because this is the node where the value will store. It inherits and store the value. Okay, and this must be in open parenthesis and close parenthesis. So clear, everyone? So give the first select the name and give the input parameters to this. Now this parameters you are passing to this input parameters you are passing to this integration procedure, and this integration procedure will get the data what you requested. So first you are requesting this. First you are sending the request parameters, what data, what account information you need, right? What account information you need. So you are passing the account ID as a key, and you will get the response in JSON. You'll get the response in JSON. Okay, everyone done? Everyone done?
Yeah.
Okay, so click next, and in the last step, you should see the data. Okay, so before that, so configure input page, the configure input page, what you can do is, okay, you click on the fetch, okay, and go little down and see the JSON. Click on, okay, you see the JSON, the test response, the JSON, click on the tab JSON, click on the tab JSON. Do you see the JSON data? So this data, so we successfully retrieved from the integration procedure. Okay, let me copy this data and put into the notepad. If you look into this data, okay, now if you see here, what information we are getting here, the team get master account details, retrieving one account, okay, account information. Also, we are getting the array of records, contacts, right? 2 contacts. Do you see the JSON, response JSON? So this is the response JSON. This is the response JSON. Please do let me know if you have any confusion here. If you don't understand. So from where we are getting? We are getting from the integration. What integration procedure we are using? Can I get response, please?
Master account.
You understand? Yes. So this JSON is coming. So we have given the we have selected the input data source as integration procedure, and we have given the integration procedure name, team get master account details. That integration procedure is retrieving this JSON. So here, how many nodes we have? How many parent nodes we have? This JSON. So in day before yesterday session, we learned like a JSON structure. So what is parent JSON? Understanding the JSON is very, very important. I've already told you, day before yesterday session. So how
Sir,
many
two
parent nodes here? So we have 2 parent nodes. Okay, now what card we are designing? What card we are developing? We are working on the account card. So here we have unnecessary data, like integration procedure got 2 contacts and account. We don't need the contact data. We don't need the contact data. We don't need the contact data. We need only account data. We need only account data. So what we should do? We should load only the account information. So how can I do that? Already integration processor retrieved this data. Okay, so here on the same screen, you see result JSON path. You see result JSON path.
Yeah.
Result JSON path. So in result JSON path, you have to mention the node name, which node data you want. You want contact data or account data? I want account data. So click on the result JSON path. I can see contact account. Why I can see contact account? Because already the FlexCard have these 2 nodes. Why it is displaying account and contact? Because already the contact and account node already loaded to the FlexCard. That's why I see only these 2 nodes. If there is no data, it will not show anything, as it has already 2 parent nodes. So that's why it is showing, okay, which one I want. In result JSON path, which data I want to load to the FlexCard? Account node. So select the account node, again click fetch. Now you see again click JSON. Now you see what data is loaded. So you are not loading the entire data what integration procedure is retrieving. You are filtering. The result JSON path, what result? This is also another interview or interview question or what certification question, what result JSON path will do. In this only, we already seen like 3-5 interview questions or more than that, and certification questions from the FlexCard. Okay. So account is what result JSON path will do. It will filter the data and it loads only the node which we specify in the result JSON path. Is that clear? Is that clear? Okay, great. So that's it. So we got the data what we want. So we successfully retrieved the data and loaded the data onto the FlexCard, which we are creating. Save. Anyone have any issue, questions, or queries on this? So we successfully created a FlexCard with the data source, and you can see MSA LWC successfully created. Do you see that?
Yeah.
So what happened backend? It created a Lightning Web Component backside. Okay, so we have not done anything now. So welcome to FlexCard Designer tool. So first time we launched the tool. So now we just created a FlexCard with a data source. We have a data source, we have the data setup, right? And we have given the name. And what is the author name? Version, current it is inactive. We have not cloned from anything, and it is not a child card. We have not selected as a child card. When we are creating button, there is a toggle. Child card or not. We have not selected is child card, right? And if you go to the set, okay, so this is a header, FlexCard Designer header, and we have some actions. And here, left side, you see, okay, if I have preview, once I done with configuration, if I want to see what is my viewer, like is it I want to see like as a desktop or tablet or mobile, how you want to see. Okay, that is a preview mode here. So as we discussed, the build contains the elements, and whatever the elements we drag and drop, we will configure using the properties, and whatever the elements we are using, for that if you want to add a style, we use a style tab. And what is the setup? Whatever the FlexCard name you have given, right? And the data setup, everything you can verify here. All this is a FlexCard configuration. Whatever we did so far, FlexCard configuration, you can see under the setup tab. Card properties, FlexCard, the current FlexCard properties. Name, it is not editable. Name, we discussed that name is not editable. This is also another certification word. What makes a FlexCard unique? What makes a FlexCard unique? What makes a FlexCard unique?
Name and author.
Name and author, very good. Name and author name, okay, makes a FlexCard unique. Okay, can I give the same name to the other FlexCard? You can give if the author is different. If it is the same author, you cannot use the same name, right? And here, if you go down, okay, so what is the data source? We have selected integration procedure, right? We have selected integration procedure. And what integration procedure we have added? Team get master account details. And what is input map we passed? Account ID as a key, which is a placeholder of the value that is record ID in the merge syntax. Okay, and the last result JSON path. Result JSON path. Account ID. So that is a setup configuration. Okay. Now the fun part begins from here. Okay. So whatever you see the canvas active under that blank screen, what you see here is we created a blank card. We created a blank card. Okay, now we will add some elements. Now we will add some elements. Okay. So how we will add elements and everything. Okay, so let's see first some of the elements. And also we have in the card properties, we have some card properties, we have some options like what is OmniScript support. So OmniScript support, okay, if you are using the LW, okay, if any LWC OmniScript if you are using, if I want to use this FlexCard in the OmniScript, that is the next topic, next module. In OmniScript module, we can use this LWC OmniScript. So this in the LWC OmniScript, we can use this FlexCard if I check the checkbox. If I want to showcase this FlexCard, in OmniScript as a UI, if the checkbox is checked, I can use this FlexCard. Okay, a repeat card. What is repeat card and when we use this repeat card? So we use the repeat cards. Let's assume that we got 10 records. Okay, so how we are displaying here? First we display the one which we are designing the 360-degree view. So first we are working on the account card, and also we have weather card, and we have for this account, one account can have multiple contacts. For how many? Let's say I have 3 contacts. How many cards it should display? If I have 3 contact cards, how many contacts it should display? 3 cards. If I have 5 contacts, it should display 5 contacts. So repeat card will repeat the number of how many records it retrieved. It will retrieve for number of records, and even for the case, same thing. It will repeat for number of cards. So if you repeat the card, how many records it retrieve from integration procedure or any other data source, those many cards for each record, one card will display. So multi-language support is something. If you are using the multilingual application, if you're working with a multi-language application, okay, if you want to add a label, dynamic labels with a customization with other language, you can use that. Okay. So if you want to add any required permission, means if you want to assign any other custom permissions, like if you want to limit the access, okay, you can provide that custom permissions. So we have to leave the blank if we don't want to add any permissions. So we can track from we can do the security implementation in Salesforce also. Once we add to the Salesforce page, the console page. Okay, is that clear, everyone?
Yes.
Okay. So what is the result JSON path do? What is the result JSON path do?
Filter the
What is use of?
We can filter the records, type of record.
Okay. In the setup, why name and author are read-only fields?
Because
Why
based on that it will be unique.
It will be unique. Very good. So what are the data sources we have? What are the data sources types we have learned?
We have 11 types.
So yes, okay. Sorry, 1 second.
Tokens, SQL, SOQL, SOSL, Apex, REST API, data raptor integration.
Streaming API.
Streaming API, very good. Excellent. Okay, so please remember these things. Okay, please remember these things. And okay, can we change the author name? Now it is coming ABC. If I want to get the author name as different, what should I do? Whenever I click new, the author name pre-default with the author name. What should can I change the author name?
Yes, we can edit on the FlexCard when we are creating. If we want to change completely, we can change your company name.
Company name, organization name. Very good. Excellent. So any questions here? So we have successfully created a FlexCard. Now we have to design the FlexCard. Creating the FlexCard is done. Okay. Now we have to design. We have to start a design. We have to start design the FlexCard. So that will start from tomorrow. Okay. So creating FlexCard with the we follow like 4 or 5 steps. Is that clear? Any questions here? Any queries here? Is that clear everything?
Yeah.
Yes. So please, please let me know if you have any questions. Please ask me the doubts and let's get clear from here. Okay. Cool. So whatever we are doing, so let's just you don't need to only you're not just only following. We are understanding, then only we are doing. Okay, because you have to again practice this. Without anything, you should be able to practice. Okay.
I have one question.
Yes, please.
In this properties, in the setup, we have a checkbox OmniScript support. So when you use this FlexCard inside the OmniScript, then this comes as like because FlexCard is used to for the data display only.
Yes.
So it comes as a form or just a data display? How
No. In OmniScript also we display the data, and also it is a multiple things in OmniScript we do.
Okay.
Not only input form. In OmniScript also it's not only input form. You can display the information. You can instruct the user. You can write instructions. You can display images. You can display the card. You can display the Lightning Web component. Like in whatever UI you want to display, you can display.
Okay.
Not only input form. So OmniScript means not input form. We can also do the input form. You can also create input form. Yeah.
So, Asif, while we are in data extraction methods, I observed we have Apex REST and just REST. So Apex REST means when we have Apex REST API class for using that, and REST means we are generally create a new REST.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Apex remote means that you write a Apex class. That Apex class can
I observed Apex REST and just REST.
REST API. REST API. So the REST API follow the standard REST. It's not about the Salesforce REST. Okay. So both are like here. If you see, we have to define the what is a JSON call, and you have to define the credentials. Like, are you using name credentials, or within the URL you are implementing the security token or something access code, right? So, or you are going to add some authentication, named credentials, right? You have all the options there in the standard REST. But whereas you come to the just REST API call, right? So there it is you are just providing the everything should be included in the endpoint URL. That is a velocity configuration. There's a difference. Here you have option to provide the rest, okay? Credentials, named credentials, there is a difference. Clear?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, so we'll continue designing a FlexCard tomorrow, same time. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day, good night, and take care.
Thank you.